After contacting all 254 counties, the AP found a record 13% of mail-in ballots were disqualified, reporting that, quote, experts say anything above 2% is usually cause for attention. The rejection rate was higher in counties that leaned Democratic, 15%, than Republican, 9%. And rejections in Harris County were about 19%, almost 1 in 5. Not counted are the number of applications rejected, and that this was a low turnout election. In a higher turnout general election, the numbers would be larger. Bob Kafka heads up the group Rev-Up Texas, protecting the voting rights of the disabled. He's been involved in disability rights issues some 40 years, and the findings did not surprise him.
The primary, unfortunately, proved all the negative outcomes that we predicted if Senate Bill 1 would pass. The irony of all this is that we have been, for the last decade or even longer, promoting people to go to the polls. We've talked a lot about physical accessibility because we wanted people to utilize the early voting and in-person voting on Election Day because that's part of community integration. It's only now with COVID that there's been as big an emphasis on the ballot by mail.
Do you have any plans to put into place as far as remedies, like kind of education programs to address certain issues, before the May 24th runoffs?
Yeah, we're going to continue our push to continue to get people registered. People who were not registered, if they do get registered before April the 25th, they can vote in the runoff, even if they didn't vote in the primary itself. And this is just the point. If you did not vote in the primary, but are registered, you can vote in the runoff. The only restriction to voting in the runoff is, one, you have to be registered, and two, if you did vote in the primary, you have to vote in the primary, the party of the primary that you voted. So another point I want to make is, in terms of our campaign ongoing till April 25th, is Texas does not have online voter registration, but there is a way that people with disabilities can approximate online voting. There's a link called register2vote.org. Register2vote.org. If you click on that link, a form will drop down. You fill out all the information that you would put on a voter registration form, and then you hit submit. You will get returned to you in the mail a filled out voter registration form with all the information that you put on there, and a return envelope with the correct address of the county that you need to return it to. So when you receive that back in the mail, which usually takes between 7 and 10 days, check the information. You then sign the voter registration, you put it in the envelope and drop it in the mail. It's a postage paid envelope. So there's nothing for you to print. It's as close to online registration that can be. So we'll be pushing that link for voter registration, as well as continuing to get people to either ballot by mail or to do the early voting for the primary.
Also, could you speak to the flash mob event that they're going to have on March 26th?
We're going to be producing a 3.5-minute PSA flash mob, get out the vote video. We're calling it Don't Diss the Vote. We're going to film the PSA at the Texas Capitol in Austin on March the 26th. And if you want information about it, it's all on our website, www.revuptexas.org. And it will be used for a massive get out the disability vote. We're going to have principal dances. we're going to have between 75 and 100 people basically illustrating, vote, vote, vote. We are framing this whole thing of show the power of the disability vote. There's no doubt that people with disabilities vote. That's a documented fact. What we are trying to do through Rev-Up Texas, and we're part of a national Rev-Up movement, is to show that if candidates would work on our issues, support disability issues, they can get people with disabilities and our supporters to vote for them. They frequently don't see the disability vote as an interest group in of itself. And I think it's a very important point that the only way we're going to be able to show the power of the disability vote is to have turnout. And we're making this point over and over so that candidates will not just have a position on their website, but will mention us in their stump speeches, do campaign stops highlighting disability issues.
So a constituency to be courted.
Yeah.
Kafka said Rev-Up Texas is working with groups in Harris County to register one of the largest disability communities in the country. For info on the March 26th flash mob at the Capitol, go to revuptexas.org. That's REVUP Texas.org. Register to vote at registertovote.org. That's register, number 2, vote.org.